My father insisted on taking my inheritance, which was 15% of the business, claiming it was to safeguard our relatives. They labeled me the betrayer of the clan. When I declined, grandfather's testament revealed a surprise no one anticipated. Hey, Reddit. Picture being raised as the overlooked child while your sibling was the star. Then envision your folks attempting to snatch your legacy for her with phony documents. Now picture their scheme falling apart in front of everyone as you enjoy the final victory. Allow me to explain what occurred. Jackson, 28-year-old guy, was brought up in a household where partiality was obvious. It was essentially the household pastime. My father managed the home like he handled disputes, noisy and decisive. Mother went along with his decisions. My junior sister Amy, the prized offspring from the beginning. Me? I figured out quickly that if I desired something, I had to manage it on my own. Some households argue about trips or chore rotations. Ours, we battle over legacies, executive positions, and who claims the throne. Amy received the larger portion of dessert since she's the youngest. The larger stipend because ballet costs a lot. If you've ever pondered what arrogant, impolite, poisonous behavior appears like in a single tidy family picture, that's our group. Grandfather stood out as the exception. He established his transportation firm from a single vehicle into a local powerhouse. Direct individual, valued fair effort, fair compensation. Upon his death, he distributed company stocks equally among his children and grandchildren. Equitable, straightforward, or that's what I believed. So when I arose on Wednesday to an electronic message from my dad, named Standard Delegate, due by midday Thursday, I sensed this wouldn't be ordinary. Just 3 lines. It's merely forms, he stated. Maintains operations seamless. Enclosed was a document titled Delegate Authorization Standard. Sure. I accessed it on my computer during morning meal. Midway through the formal text, it essentially declared, assigns complete decision-making authority for ownership stake to current administrator until additional directive. Current administrator means dad. Ownership stake means my 15% of grandfather's transportation firm. I gazed at the display. A single endorsement and I'd transfer command of my ballot forever. Not disposing of my holdings, but in an enterprise like this, ballots determine all. Payouts, leadership roles, acquisitions. Actual influence. If it were really innocent, he wouldn't require me unaware. Dad's the administrator, behaves as if it crowns him ruler. My relatives, demanding, boisterous, resistant to reason. Details rebound from them like elastic projectiles. Brief overview so you understand. Final year of high school, I at last reached the area competitions in fighting. Had been practicing since age 15. Dawn sessions, chilly jogs, sore sides, everything. Trainer mentioned I had a genuine opportunity now. The arena was crowded that evening. Even the neighborhood news outlet sent a photographer. I informed my parents the schedule a fortnight prior. Mother messaged perhaps, father ignored. Amy had her performance event the identical weekend, but hers occurred Saturday midday. My match was Friday evening, no conflict. Signal sounds, 3 stages. I triumphed via scoring, top award, greeting from the city leader, lights from the lenses. I scanned the audience following the official lifting my arm. Vacant spots where they ought to be. Later, I phoned residents. Mother explained they were preparing for Amy's event the following day and avoided traveling twice over the weekend. Father informed me via loudspeaker fighting lacks a true path. Avoid exaggeration. The next day at Amy's show, they brought blossoms, inflatables, the entire support group. Images across social media. Meanwhile, my trophy remained in my vehicle's storage compartment. That defined the routine. Regardless of my achievements, academics, athletics, university admissions, Amy's matters always took priority. Eventually, you cease anticipating otherwise, returning to the message. Cutoff was emphasized. Submit by Thursday noon. I seized my journal and noted, delegate obtained 7:12 a.m. Wednesday. Cutoff midday Thursday. Leadership gathering Friday. 4 p.m. I refused to endorse without understanding his strategy. I contacted Mark, grandfather's longtime associate. He responded after 3 tones. Hello, young man, he greeted. Mark oversaw functions for grandfather for 2 decades, understood the enterprise thoroughly. Received a message, I informed him. Delegate permission, father claims standard. Quiet, then a brief chuckle, standard like a predator in a poultry enclosure. Pay attention. Your granddad included a behavior provision in the testament. Anyone attempting dishonest actions, hazards forfeiting their portion. He added it after your parents attempted to persuade him to bequeath all to Amy 2 years back. Evidence exists. Where? Azure folder. Warehouse on Kellerman Street. Check beneath the equipment box. Retrieve it prior to them recalling its location. As I recorded instructions, Mother messaged, simply endorse it. Preserve matters within the kin and Amy requires assurance. We discussed this already. Discussed? No, they conversed. I was excluded. I redirected the delegate to my job email, viewed it on my larger screen, and searched online for stockholder delegate privileges enduring shift. Each outcome essentially indicated after you relinquish it, reclaiming it may involve a judicial quagmire. During midday meal, I traveled to Kellerman Warehouse. Lines of steel entrances with fading digits. Grandfather's was 14. Still possessed the extra key from previous summer when we removed his angling equipment. Interior odor of particles and aged lubricant. There stood the equipment box. Battered cover. Regional Festival label from 1994. Below, as Mark described, Azure 3-inch folder marked leadership records plus miscellaneous. I browsed it on my vehicle's rear. Initial part, leadership records for the last decade. Second, duplicate of grandfather's testament, with emphasized sections on balanced allocation. Third, an endorsed, verified missive dated prior spring. Grandfather's script on the lower edge stated, balanced signifies balanced. No compulsion, no deceptions. Maintain the enterprise upright. That phrase by itself rendered the delegate suspicious. I captured images of each sheet, both on my device and Nate's. He's my university friend, now an accountant. He joined me there during his break to observe all. Time marks, position labels, everything, overcautious. He remarked as I digitized. Father labels it standard, I explained. Standard avoids attorneys afterward. At residence, I preserved all in 3 locations. Computer online storage, secured drive. Directories named by date. Not clever titles, dates prevail in legal proceedings. I contacted Mark again, obtained the folder. Missives endorsed, verified, obvious. He breathed out. Excellent. Re-verified duplicates tomorrow. Magistrates prefer official items. And young man, yes. Avoid missing the cutoff. Leadership session Friday. He desires your ballot secured before that. I programmed reminders on my device regarding the schedules. Mother phoned once more near supper. I allowed it to voicemail. Her recording stated this theatrics isn't required. Simply endorse it. Your dad understands commerce superior to you, possibly. But grandfather understood him superior to us both. Tomorrow, we observe what a magistrate believes. It's her Thursday dawn, alert at 7. I had 3 assignments. Attorney advice, verifier duplicates, judicial submission if necessary, nothing elaborate, merely a list. By 8, I was heading to the Kellerman warehouse once more. Mark indicated the folder alone wouldn't halt father. Magistrates prefer official items, sequence of possession, distinct chronologies. The authentic missive was endorsed and verified, but possessing official duplicates eliminates justifications. Midway, my device rang. Mother, I activated speaker. Greeting, I said. Heading to employment? She inquired, tone sharp as if I'd violated rules. Task first, I replied. She hesitated then. If you're visiting the warehouse, check below the equipment box compartments. Azure folder. Your granddad stored all there. You ought to have informed your dad before rummaging through his items. I delayed response. Father aware of the folder? Naturally. He assisted your granddad assemble it, and that was fresh info. Implied father knew precisely the contents. Regardless, she added, endorse the delegate and cease complicating this. He's attempting to maintain smoothness. Smooth for whom? I avoided debate. Warehouse 14 appeared identical. Steel entrance creaking upward, particles all over. I wore protection this time. Extracted the Azure folder. Browsed pages on the rear again to confirm. Leadership records, testament duplicate. The identical verified missive. His edge remark on balanced portions and maintaining the enterprise upright. I placed the folder on the front seat, secured the unit, and headed directly to a verifier place on Primary Avenue. The verifier was a tiny spot between a washing facility and a loan shop. Elderly fellow at the desk appeared uninterested until I displayed the missive. He examined the authentic, produced 3 official duplicates, each with the formal seal and endorsement. Lasted perhaps 15 minutes. While anticipating, I messaged Nate an image of the fresh seals with the time mark visible. Sequence of possession. No interruptions. By 9:30, I was in the lot of Patel and Associates, a modest legal practice mark suggested. Basic stone structure, metal letters near the entrance. Within, a front desk worker directed me to a meeting space where Miss Patel, around 40s, crisp outfit, already had my message open on her computer. Rapid legal guidance. Miss Patel acts for me. Firm advisor acts for the corporation, not me, father, or any personal stockholder. You're the descendant with the delegate concern? She questioned. I affirmed. She scanned quickly, turning through the folder duplicate and the delegate message. Your dad is seeking to lock in ballot privileges prior to tomorrow's leadership session, she explained. If you endorse this, he commands your portion forever unless he willingly returns it or you litigate. Either option, costly. Grandfather's behavior provision? I inquired. She pointed to the testament duplicate. Here. Any recipient who applies force or alters legacy allocation loses their portion. That's stringent wording. If we demonstrate to the tribunal he compelled you or distorted information, he endangers forfeiting his share completely. Following action, she retrieved a document from her case. We submit for a provisional limiting directive. Magistrate can halt any delegate shifts until a session. You possess the verified missive, the testament, the message with the cutoff. Solid chronology, how quickly? I can present it to a magistrate this afternoon. By 10:30, we were at the tribunal administrator's office. Security scanner at the entrance. Extended corridor scent of brew and ground cleaner. Miss Patel managed documents while I covered the submission cost at another counter. We lingered outside the magistrate's room for about 60 minutes. When summoned, Miss Patel outlined all concisely. Delegate message with cutoff. Kin pressure, grandfather's missive. Behavior provision, presented each item sequentially. The magistrate regarded me. You're claiming you were requested to endorse this without clarification? Yes, sir, I replied. And the leadership session is tomorrow. He nodded gradually. Provisional limiting directive approved. No delegate shifts until additional examination next week. Miss Patel provided me 2 official duplicates of the directive. Retain one for the leadership session, she advised. Deliver the other to firm advisor so they recognize it's formal. Outside, I phoned Mark. We possess a limiting directive. I informed him. Excellent, he replied. Present it tomorrow. Meeting space 345. He'll attempt to force a ballot before 4. I drove home, folder and tribunal directive on the front seat. At a stop signal, my device vibrated. Message from father. Learned your consulting attorneys. This isn't how kin manages issues. Endorse the delegate and avoid spectacle. I ignored. Another message arrived shortly. You're committing an error you'll lament. Preserved both. Time marks count. At my location, I arranged all on the cooking surface. Folder. Official duplicates, delegate message output, tribunal directive above, organized directories by numeral, basic, sequential, simple for anyone to trace. I messaged Miss Patel digitized duplicates for her files, then duplicated all to online storage and 2 portable drives. One remained with me. One placed in a secure box at the financial institution before shutdown. By 5 p.m., all was prepared. The leadership session was under a day away. Father desired my endorsement. Instead, he'd receive a tribunal directive and grandfather's edge remark. Balanced portions, no force. Tomorrow, we witness his response when the leadership learns it also. Thursday evening, 7:45 p.m., my device vibrated with an image from a relative. Kin group discussion exploding. Someone alleged I was disposing my holdings to externals and opposing grandfather's heritage. Ideal timing. Just prior to the leadership session as well. Another image followed, this from a firm's communication channel. Learned one stockholder aims to liquidate, major shifts approaching. I hadn't uttered anything about disposing. Father was sowing falsehoods, careless ones, but sufficient to agitate folks. I preserved all. Time marks, accounts, contact details. If it was electronic, it got captured. By 8:15, Amy phoned for the initial time that week. Hi, she greeted, tone soft. Father's striding the residence like a commander. He repeatedly says you're damaging the kin's image. He instructed you to contact me, I questioned, quiet briefly. Then he placed some documents on the surface. Appeared like strategies. I captured images before he returned. Moments later, my device vibrated again. Images of father's shift strategy. Output in point form. Lock-in ballot delegate from Jackson leadership endorsement for administrator oversight privileges. Prolonged command until following yearly session. Power to manage stockholder discussions. Obvious, this wasn't merely one ballot. He sought command for the coming year, possibly more. You okay? I inquired Amy. She exhaled. I'm okay. Just weary of this. Avoid endorsing anything he provides, I advised her. Not a single sheet. She vowed she wouldn't. At 8:40, I messaged the shift strategy images to Miss Patel. 10 minutes after, she responded, this is useful, demonstrates purpose and preparation. Will employ it if required. Bring duplicates to the leadership session. Friday dawn, 6:30. I began early. Output all. The limiting directive, grandfather's missive, testament sections, delegate message, messages from my folks, communication captures, shift strategy images, marked A to J. A clear chronology the leadership could follow. I phoned Mark. Possessed the papers, I informed him. Excellent, he replied. Your father's been contacting overseers since yesterday evening, attempting to align the group before you arrive. What time to appear? 3:45 precisely. Session commences at 4. He'll try to advance a ballot early. By 9, I was at Miss Patel's workplace. She arranged all across her meeting surface, organizing items. Tidy collection, she commented. They debate feelings. We debate documents. She attached notes highlighting main phrases so leadership members couldn't claim oversight. At 10:30, Father messaged. Endorse the delegate today and keep this within kin. No requirement for externals. I ignored. 15 minutes after, you reject, don't fault me for subsequent events, preserved both messages. Around 11, Mark phoned again. He recently left a recording for one overseer, claiming you're intending to dispose your interest to rivals. That's fresh, I remarked. Falsehood spreads quickly, Mark stated.